some reason, Jam's bouncing.
Yep. This game is great.
I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see that? Jam? I don't know if you could.
I mean,
his ride height must be awful. Porpoising's back. But he's on the front row with it, so fair play.
Fair play. I mean, I think you can say it because, you know, it's not like it's a mad statement or anything. Bouncing on the F1 cars was a problem. So, I think you're alright. I think you're alright, Jack. Only crowding, interestingly, is on the mediums as the drivers make their way through the formation lap and to start this race. So, I think we might see a few drivers be a little bit slow off the line because the hard tyres are very hard to fire up. So, crowding...
It's an Evo, just mentioned. Nearly everyone on the hards. And yeah, that is quite mad.
It is quite mad. So, if there is a crash, strategy's out of the window as we wait for combat to line up with McLaren on the 18th
Jam's
slot
still bouncing
on the grid. And nice bouncing. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. We've got a bouncing Ferrari on the front row to kick off the Australian Grand Prix in the Mckeon division. We are underway. And it is a good start from Corey. Jam still bouncing about in second place. Combat's not going anywhere as we go through turn 1. And it seems that everyone
no, Bezos
is
round.
I know Bezos is round, so both McLaren's at the rear of the field. It is SLR in the lead. And Turner down the inside of SLR Ogwin. He's going to try and go round the outside through turn 3 and through turn 4. He's ahead.
Eight risk gaining positions here.
Aston Martin. Elite is up to 8th place, but the train's already been broken between the top 2. They've already broken away from the rest of the field as we see Sem losing out quite a bit. He's behind Elite
looking at the inside of Ogwin, now the outside.
And Ogwin has kind of been struggling here. He's already lost a place to Turner, and Roller is looking to get his way up the field. Track position is so key as we see Midzi saving the car, and that is an open door for Crispy to get through and say thank you very much. I will take that position as we see Chito also down in 13th place. I have no idea what has happened as I'm trying to find position change. He's lost 4 places at the start.
The biggest gainer is SLR Stan. He's made up... No, sorry, not SLR Stan, that would be Snipes.
It's Snipes, and oh! Someone's hit the wall. That's crowding. I don't know if he's in or not. He's a ghost car, but he's hit the wall, the exit last corner, and back to your point, Snipes has made the most places, and Stan's round, and that is a huge crash.
Nice.
Stan is out of the Australian Grand Prix. Arbin once again with another crash, and that is his strategy down the drain, and we've got a safety car after the first lap. Stan with a spin, and Arbin simply at the wrong place at the wrong time, and that is unfortunate.
I didn't actually get a look at that because I was trying to see if Crowding had any wing. What did you see what happened, or?
Yeah, Stan was just going through turn 2, lost the rear of the car, and Arbin's gone ploughing into him because, I mean, there's only one line through turn 2, so obviously you want to take the racing line, and that's what Arbin's done. And unfortunately, he's gone into the Alpine. So Stan has only managed to complete 1 lap of this race, and that's his race done. So we've got a safety car, and that's going to bunch up the field. And it's only lap 1. You were hoping that these drivers, since they are, you know, 20 of the best,
is anyone going to pit?
You know, you were hoping that they'll be the best on the grid. And we've only got a safety car at the end of the first lap, and Dylan is in. He feels like he's got nothing to lose.
Is that damage?
I don't know if it's for damage.
No, it's not.
Well, it's not for damage. It's for soft tyres.
Interesting.
I'm not too sure why
Arbin pit,
he's done that. And of course, Arbin is in the pits. He missed the last race in Saudi Arabia. He missed out on points in Bahrain, and he finds himself at the rear of the field here in Australia. So it has not been a good start to life back at the Mckeon division for Arbin. have to feel for him as a fellow Alfa Romeo driver as well. Jib Jab has left the session.
Yeah, fair enough. He's out. I can imagine he's quite annoyed with that.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I think he's DNF. So
There
you go. Yeah.
So I've noticed with Stan, I mentioned that he was the biggest. I think he was one of the biggest position change gainers. I think 2 or 3 in the first few laps, and that's the second person I jinxed this weekend. Firstly, being SLR Jacker last night in this corner that they're now passing, and now it's lost Stan. He did gain the most positions. Now he's lost the most. 5.
Well, that is very unfortunate, Jack. I mean, it's all part of the job, isn't it? Commentator's curse is a common thing in real life and in league racing as well, in particular. And you've seen a terrible example of the commentator's curse here on only the 3rd lap of this Australian Grand Prix. The biggest gainer is Snipes, who crashed in Q1 and has found himself up into 10th place. And
Crowding is still ghosting.
This race. Yeah, Crowding is still ghosting. So I'm not too sure if he's actually in the race. I'm gonna see if I can get him back in, because that is not ideal for anyone.
A good point. He could be out.
Let's see. I've sent him an invite. Hopefully he can get back in and get racing. He's on the mediums, and that is kind of put him in it's a tough position for him, because if the safety car comes in, he can't pit and he has to go on mediums, and he has to stop earlier than everybody else. So Crowding, he's gained 5 places, which is good for him, but he's going to be in an awkward position, as Dylan actually has gone back onto the hard tyres. So he just wanted to complete the regulations of using at least 2 dry compounds, and I think he'll be trying to take those hard tyres to the end of the race.
That is a good shout. If there's no safety cars, he could find himself in quite an interesting position towards the end if he manages to keep the pack, maybe even bite his way through the field. He could find himself in a very good position towards the end, towards even the middle of the race. Even if he stays out, of course, which he's trying to do, I mean, the rest doesn't pit. A safety car could be really mixing things up with him, but wait and see. Could be another safety car next lap.
Well, based on what we've seen off the first few laps, I definitely won't imagine a safety car is too far away.
Ram is still bouncing. That is definitely connection. But the safety car's in this lap, so see if he can porpoise his way into the lead.
That was a good one. And so here we go, lap 4 of this Australian Grand Prix, and Corey is about to lead the field. He can go whenever he wants to, or whenever he's not held back by the limiter. We're underway, and he's gone really late. That's very late.
And now Turner on Jam is on the inside of him.
Yeah, he's definitely got this wrong, and he's now allowed Turner to have an open goal towards Jam.
By trying that, it's ended a little bit of time to Ogwin.
Yeah, he tried that, but it didn't work out for him, as we're underway again in Australia. And I'm going to get some telemetry back on, and there we go. We are racing again. Corey barely surviving off the restart. It was a very late quarter go, but he's managed to stretch out a little bit of breathing space to the Ferrari. It is Corey had a jam. Turner stays in 3rd place, and Ogwin is looking to get at him, and he's got Roller right behind him. Crispy in 6th place. I'm not too sure if we're seeing any moves down the order, and yes we are, I think, as Bezos gets past Crowding. Crowding has still not managed to get back in. He's still a ghost car, and Bezos he's managed to stroll through, and now Crowding's down in P13. So not ideal.
On the back of mid, he's got 20% more ERS than him. Really not lacking pace here. So he's sticking with him without using the ERS. He's on 100% with Mckeon on 80. Yeah,
and you know, with being in a Mckeon race before, one crucial thing is ERS management, and being able to stay within the DRS train as well, because if the train gets broken up, you'll definitely find it hard to get back into the race and keep within touch of the cars in front of you. And Midzi has used quite a lot of battery compared to Elite Risks, the Division 1 champion. So Midzi might be having to use that to compensate for not having as much straight line speed as he would have liked, as, you know, it's been a slow start for the reigning champion this season. And right now he's currently languishing in P7, and that is definitely not where he wants to be. As we see further
really
back, Sem. Yeah, that's a good point. As we see, Sem under pressure from Snipes for P9 in this race. If you're going to make a move, you're going to have to be clinical about it, as Sem struggles his way through the chicane, keeping it on the track. And here goes Snipes looking for the move down the inside into Alonso corner, and he's side by side with the AlphaTauri, and he gets the drive out of the corner, and he's up into 9th place and demoting the AlphaTauri driver into 10th. So Snipes really making good progress in the opening laps of this race. 7 places gained.
So Elite is on the back of him. Midzi not in the DRS of Crispy, who's in front of him.
And now this is where things might get even more bleak for the reigning champion. DRS has been enabled, and there is a DRS train right in front of him, and he's definitely going to struggle to keep up with the cars in front. He's only got 40% ERS as well, which is not ideal at all. So Risk might be looking at an opportunity to overtake the reigning champion, which is, I don't think that would be something he would have expected while making his debut season in the Mckeon division. As we're running on board with Snipes up into P7, our highest position gainer so far. He's used a lot of battery though, and in Mckeon, ERS is key, as Midzi on this occasion barely makes it into the DRS range of Crispy, so he might hang on to P7 for a little bit longer. And yeah, he was very lucky. He was just outside, just under a second of DRS, as Combat gets past the ghost of Crowding. Crowding continues to slip backwards as Jitto and Bezos are fighting over P11, and these guys, they are going to lose touch with the guys in front, so that is really unfortunate for those behind. As you see, the front runners making their way through the turn 1, and here we are focusing on the main battle here for P11. Bezos down the inside, they're side by side going into turn 1, and they barely kept it on the track there. Bezos having to give Arbin space, and Arbin could go for a 2-for-1 here. They're 3 wide momentarily, and Arbin gets past Chito, and he could try and get past Bezos as well, but he tucks in behind. But Arbin looking very opportunistic on the medium tyres, and he's got to find a way to make them work.
Off goes Jitto, through goes Arbin.
Almost a carbon copy and paste if he got past the McLaren, so he might not have had the easiest first lap, but he's definitely giving it his best shot, as Jitto is going to come back at him. And look how much ERS he has used compared to the Alfa Romeo, as Jitto reclaims the place, and just like Hamilton in real life, he lost those places quite, you know, pretty much immediately. But he's got no ERS to defend with. I think
less than 10% now. He's got the lowest amount of ERS in the field here. He's gone wide. Yeah, he's gone really wide. That's inviting out Arbin right through.
And that is Arbin saying thank you very much. I will take that position. And I think that might be a little bit of relief, along with a bit of frustration for the Alfa Romeos. Crispy's out of the Grand Prix. He's gone into the wall at the exit of the last corner.
That is
and
a
that is
safety
the
car.
Second safety car. The joint championship leader will not score points in Albert Park, and that is a disaster for him.
Wow. So Dylan's pit.
And Dylan is in the pits again.
Mediums.
He's going for, yeah.
Is that the mediums? Yeah, it is.
Those are mediums.
20 laps in the mediums.
That is,
I'm not sure.
That is actually quite unfortunate for Dylan, because the safety car has not picked up the leader, SLR Corey. So now, if these guys do make a pit stop, he won't benefit much from it, because I think these guys are still under Delta, surely. So Dylan might have timed this a little bit wrong, and I think he'll find it difficult to benefit, gain any positions from that. So these guys, it's an early safety car, but the question is, what do you do? Do you go for the mediums, or do you just stay on the hards? So we are entering quite a crucial stage of this race, and whatever decision you make, it will definitely haunt you for the rest of the race. So let's see what Corey does. He stays out. Jam is pitting. Is anyone else going to follow?
That's smart from
Mitzi
Jam.
is as well.
Actually, no. They're all starting on the hard, so they can't go hard to the end.
They can't. So Jam is in, and Midzi is as well. He's gone for mediums. Midzi is in for mediums surely as well, and so is Sem, and so is Arbin. I think Arbin's going to go back on the hard tyre. So definitely a variation of strategy here, and how that first safety car has changed the course of this race for a few drivers here. So most people have decided to stay at Arbin, losing it on the pit lane exit. Be careful. We don't want to see you putting it in a wall. That would not be ideal. A lucky escape for our fellow Alfa Romeo driver. But Dylan, like I said earlier, there you go. He pitted too early. He couldn't benefit from the safety car, and he is still in plumb last. So that is very unfortunate for SLR Dylan. He couldn't quite time it right, and as a result he's gained no track position whatsoever.
What's another gain track position is Snipes. He's gained 10 positions since the start.
Snipes making his way through the field very nicely indeed. That is a good spot, Jack. As the safety car is never going to bunch up the field once again. And it is SLR Corey still leading the way from W Turner, from Ogwin as well. The joint championship leader, Crispy, out of the race. He won in Bahrain.
Safety car's in this lap, yeah.
Well, here we go. Safety car's in.
Is Corey going to have another late one, or is he going to surprise with switching up a bit, going a bit early?
Well, it's all up to him. Let's hope it
Liam has asked, could we have what tyres people are on? So if you just want to quickly grab that.
Yeah, sure. Sort that out, and there we go. There you go, Liam. Here we go. And I think Roller's had a bit of an awful restart. Risk Owens went into the back of him, and we are racing in Australia. It's Corey ahead of Turner, Ogwin as well. Going through, and Turner's made a mistake. And that is the open door that SLR Ogwin was looking for. And he's up in a P2. And Roller's through as well. So Turner making a bit of a mistake.
Ogwin's
trying to heat up the tyres.
Ogwin's gone really deep.
Ogwin goes deep as well. It is all starting to kick off. And look at Ogwin here. He's literally like, I think he's flown away here. We've got
Jitto and Combat.
flags.
Both got a penalty. Arbin's round.
Arbin has gone round, and that is a miserable weekend. Basically compounded for Arbin. Very unfortunate. Life in Mckeon has not been kind to him, and he did a good spot earlier. Jitto and Combat with penalties, and that is going to be another factor in this race. Keeping it clean with track limits as well. So we've seen our first two casualties with track limits, and Midzi gets a penalty as well.
Out this lap. We've had 10 laps with no safety cars, and just lap 11 alone. That's 3 penalties.
Yeah, just you see here, Jack. Like, track limits are such a factor, and that is pretty much why I'm dreading going to this track tomorrow.
Crowding's
that is for sure. And Crowding's in the pits, and I think he's an AI car, so I have no idea. But that is really unfortunate for him. And Arbin is a long way back, but at the front, SLR Corey, he actually nailed the restart this time. And let's see if Ogwin can catch up and get within DRS, because that in reality is
just having a look on Elite. I noticed.
Elite risk up to 5th place, but it could be 6th. He has gained 10 places in the opening 11 laps, and it could be one on the way. But maybe not. Snipes has gone wide, and Jam is looking to pounce here on the fresh medium tyres. There will be the quicker tyres for the time being. Midzi gets past Bezzers as well in the background as they come through this fast chicane. Jam can't really challenge, and Bezzers
Sem looking at the back of Bezzers.
And Sem is looking to take advantage as well. Going down the inside to the Alonso corner, and it's going to be Sem.
Done it nicely.
Fresh medium tyres. And
Jam's got past Snipes.
Has managed to, yeah, he has. He's managed to get past Snipes as well. So Snipes, ironically, it's an ironic frustration here. He was looking to gain the place, but instead he has lost the place. And it
Mitzi.
might be another one. Midzi, I think he's made a bit of contact with the Mercedes, and Sem looks to go to the both of them here. DRS enabled. Can Sem make the move going into turn 1?
He's done one. He's
Can he get the drive?
Oh,
Can he get the drive through turn 2? And look how many cars are in the same shot here. This is absolutely incredible. And Sem doesn't get through, and there's contact, and Snipes is round. Jitto's in the back of him.
Tebow Snipes. He's gone from getting 10 positions from the start to now only 4.
Yeah, I think I've jinxed him again. Another jinx for anyone.
Jam making his way back up through the field on these fresh mediums.
Well, that is really unfortunate for Snipes, and he's yet to stop as well. So these guys might be a pit stop behind the guys who haven't pitted yet, like the top 5 for example. They might be a pit stop behind the guys who have pitted onto medium tyres, but they'll be on fresher tyres towards the end of the race, as Bezos is under pressure from SLR Dylan, who was at the rear of the field when the safety car came in. Is he going to try and go for a move down here? No, he isn't. He stays behind, but he's putting a lot of pressure on the McLaren driver. This field's definitely starting to bunch up a little bit. A few breakaways in the midfield, but it is definitely starting to heat up here in our park on this Sunday evening, as Ogween is in Corey's DRS. So that is going to definitely help Ogween go for a second consecutive win. He knows his closest rival is out of the race, as Elite Risk is trying to stay within DRS of W Turner, and Jam is in close pursuit. And he's the lead medium runner as Arben gets a penalty for track limits. And that is just very, just miserable, just very unfortunate for Arben. You know, he didn't have a good qualifying. He crashed the last corner, and the race has not been going well for him either. And Life in Mckeon has been very cruel to him in the 2 races that he has turned up to, and he might not be looking at any points if there is not another safety car. But this is league racing. Anything can happen, and speaking of something happening, Jam is having a go at Risk, and Elite Risk does not fight that at all. He knows the situation, and Jam is up into 5th place in the Ferrari on the mediums, and he's got a car between himself and Midzi, who is also on the medium tyre. So that will allow him to push into some clean air and maybe go after the top 4. So Jam is looking really good at this moment in time.
Dylan's in the wall.
Dylan is at the wall, and
yeah, he's lost his way.
Don't tell me.
He's pit.
Don't tell me that is another safety car.
How's that? Is that a VSC or a safety car? I can't tell.
That's a safety car.
Oh, that's stupid.
No
one's out.
No one's out of the race, but the debris on the track caused by Dylan has caused
it's not on the track,
safety car.
It's the debris isn't on the track at all. It's actually just brushed to the side in the wall. But
we've got a 3rd safety car. Well,
if Snipes didn't lose his positions, he would have been in a. He would have had a. Oh, he's still got a free pit stop. It's going to be interesting what everyone else does, because you can't do 14 laps on the soft. You can barely do half of that.
No. That is true. The soft tyre are pretty much, on this game, they are pretty much the worst race tyre out of all 3 compounds available. And what this has done also, it's helped the top 4 and anyone else who is not pitted. So Snipes having that contact with Jitto is really unfortunate, and he really is the victim of terrible timing, because he has no track position.
Jam, who has pitted, he's surely not going to pit again. Yeah, so he's going to be in the lead here with only 5-6 laps of race tyre. So let's just have a look at he's 5 lap old mediums, now 6 with Mitzi in 2nd. Bezos has picked up a penalty for speeding the pit, by the way,
and it will not be removed in the pit stop. So Bezos with a penalty, very unfortunate. Now
so
these
Sem
guys
into
are now
P3 with a net P2. The delight of Jack Dunn, his biggest fan in the Twitch chat. But yeah, SLR Corey is. If these drivers don't happen again, they're not going to be on that warm tyres, because the safety car is just helping them out. It'll make it pretty much a a perfect stint. Just so what if it was like starting on the race? You've got just 2 laps just to coast, keep the tyres, and not have as much tyre wear as you'd like, or as you'd like if it was normal racing conditions. So it could actually get quite interesting here. The safety cars really move this up. Only 13 laps to go. If Jam breaks away from Midzi, which isn't looking well, it's not the easiest thing to do to break away from Midzi, as we've seen from the last 2 seasons of SLR, his controversial season 7 and his season 8 title. So he's shown that he's up there and probably one of the best Mckeon drivers as like this division seen. So it's not going to be hard to break. It's going to be very hard to break away from him, despite having a penalty. So Sam a net P2, Corey a net P3, because of course there's 3 people in front of him who've got a penalty. Unfortunately, they've had to be caught out by their penalties for the safety car. For some reason, the combat's pit, so just making people's lives a little bit easier.
Well, Combat taking the chance to go onto fresh tyres, and let's see what he's going. He's going for.
Is that the softs?
They're on soft. He's on softs. What's going on?
13 laps. I don't know what he's seen in the strategy.
I have no idea why he's done that, but he's taking a shot, but I don't think it's going to pay off for him at all, as the tyres are not going to go 13 laps. You could barely do 5 laps on his tyres, and you'll start to feel the tyres going off. But I have no idea, but he's going to try and cut this field through like a hot knife through butter if he wants any chance of getting points for McLaren. And what you said about Midzi, that is absolutely true. He's definitely one of the best Mckeon drivers this league has seen, and it will not be easy for Jam to pull away. But what we've seen from SLR Jam is really good pace on the hard tyre, and his medium tyre pace seems to be pretty strong as well, as he overtook Elite Risk with ease. And we've got the safety car coming in at the end of this lap.
Oh,
and SLR Jam. Oh, that's a bit.
I don't know if you noticed that, but Midzi had a. Midzi was stuck at the inside of Jam for a minute.
Well, thankfully, none of the drivers went into the back of anyone, as we are going to get ready for the third time. The third time, we are going to get ready to race again in Australia, but this time it's not SLR Corey, it is SLR Jam in the Ferrari, recently promoted from Division 1, and he is raring to go, leading a Mckeon race in Australia. Midzi right behind him. The window of opportunity for him has been opened to get his first podium of the new season, as the reigning champion has been really quiet so far this season, and we are underway again in Australia, and Jitto is immediately pressing on Sem as we're going into turn 1. Can he get the job done? And it's going to be side by side, but Sem hangs on for the time being, and Corey's going to have a go at it as well. Going into
it's crucial because Ogwin's right behind him.
Ogwin is right behind. He might be knocking at the door as well, but right now it's single file. Everyone just minding their own business for the time being. It is Jam ahead of Midzi, and he's got a 7/10 gap to the reigning champion right now. None of them have used too much ERS for the time being, but the main battle here is for P4, as Corey is looking to get past Jitto, and this, like you said, Jack, is crucial, because if he doesn't, Ogwin can claim track position.
Another crucial point, if you look on board, is it just me, the clouds looking a lot more grey than...
They are starting to grey up.
I don't know if there's enough time, but it could get quite interesting here if there is rain introduced. And Jitto's gone wide. Corey pushing him across.
Yeah,
he might make a dive here.
Corey really putting pressure on, but he's got to be clinical about this, because if he can't get this done, he's putting him off badly. Jitto's struggling on the mediums right now. He's really struggling here for grip and confidence compared to the Williams. He's got to be clinical about this, because Ogwin will literally pounce on him if he can't get it done. So turns 1 and 2 are going to be important for the Williams. He needs to get this car out of the way. Jitto, who's got nothing to lose, he's got a penalty, and he is hanging on for dear life here. Credit to him, he is not giving up the position easily. And that is what you want to see. Meanwhile, Combat is past Crowding, who is still a ghost car. And that, I've no idea if he's even a ghost or even driving properly at this point. So, it's very unfortunate for Crowding. But, meanwhile, at the front,
he's so much more ERS than him. He's draining it down this whole straight, but he's having a look at Sam now. Gone down the inside of this fast chicane, but Sam is defended really well. Fair play to him.
Yeah,
which has put him off, which has invited SLR right in.
There's the moment he's been looking for. I accidentally didn't find it properly, but
he's gone wide. He's gone really wide.
It's gone wide again. Corey, I can imagine he's going very impatient. He wants to get past the
He is really sensible
Haas.
though. He's been really sensible, not making any silly decisions that can maybe ruin this race.
Definitely giving these guys a headache, and this is allowing Jam and Midzi to break away from the rest of the field. And this is what I mean, track position is so crucial around here. And this is not because, you know, these guys are fighting for position. It's not because, you know, they have to pit. They're going to try and get to the end of the race unless it's another safety car, and Corey just can't make the move happen. Even though Jitto has been put off several times.
Midzi. Them two looked a little bit closer. Jam's left, Jam is left.
Oh, no. Right, we need to get him back in. That is awful. I mean, he had problems with connection.
Oh no, sorry. Oh god. Yeah, that's just.
Hang on.
I've invited him.
Oh, great job, Jack. Thank you very much for that, because that is absolutely, that is really unfortunate. And the worst part is this car, this AI car, has drained the ERS, and Corey again is having a look at Jitto, and Jitto is still saying no, you're not taking P4, and Corey still can't make it happen. And Ogwin is surely getting frustrated because he's like, come on, pass him already, just make it happen, because Race Roller is not going to make it happen. Oh no! That is awful. This is absolutely awful for SLR Jam. He was leading this race, and a disconnection has put him out of the race completely. He's on soft, and these guys are trying to get to the end of the race. And Midzi takes the lead. He will inherit the lead of the Australian Grand Prix, and you've got to feel for Jam here. A disconnection. He was having problems with connection the entire time.
Corey's
it was not looking great, and Corey will take the opportunity and finally passes the Haas of Jitto. He's up into the podium places, and this race is far from over. We've got yellow flags in sector 1, and that's Dylan. And he's had a spin.
Really not good luck for the Ferraris. So what was looking like 25 points is now going to 0.
It really was. He was definitely looking like one of the quicker drivers on this track, as Dylan has another spin through turn 5. His tyres are way too hot, and that is unfortunate for him. And Corey's out!
No way. Oh my god.
Corey's out of the race! He's gone off at the chicane! And then there's another safety car! A 4th safety car in the Australian Grand Prix! And Ogwin's stuck on the track, and he's had to reset! He's gone off at the Alonso corner! And Ogwin has lost track position as well!
Oh!
What is going on? He's gone off!
Ogwin's gone off again.
He's gone off again! And
so the two championship protagonists have actually let way. I mean,
that's exactly what's happening.
They've all stayed out, other than Snipes. Combat.
Well, maybe these guys are giving themselves a shot to get some serious positions, as the McLaren is in Arbin's way. Arbin's going to pit, but what is going on?
Dylan's gone off again. For some reason Dylan's gone straight off. He's done the same as Ogwin, and he's also spun.
Dylan is really struggling to keep on the track.
I mean, fair enough.
And Corey, fuming. He could have won this race. He was definitely having a great race with really good pace compared to the others he was fighting around him, and he has left the session. And you know, you got to feel for him. You know, he was getting frustrated behind Jitto. I can only assume it's a mistake from
Dylan
the
has tried in the pits, which was quite unnecessary.
Dylan has had enough as well.
The safety car going on. But
Yeah,
at the
Dylan's
minute,
had enough as well. So
before this race, a few days ago, he said he'll be really happy with points and to get into Q3. At the minute, he's coming away with the race win.
he's in a net P1. Well, I said earlier, this is league racing, and anything can happen. And sometimes unpredictability is the order of the day, as we've seen our two championship protagonists crumble here. Ogwyn down in P9 with everything to do. Jam was leading this race literally 2 laps ago until a disconnect has robbed him of position. And Corey, who started on pole, who topped every qualifying session, has failed to see the checkered flag. And we have seen 5 retirements in this Grand Prix. And a 4th safety car that has put Midzi into the lead of this race, but he's got a penalty which will set him back. So Sem is in a net P1, and we are getting ready for, I think, a 7-lap dash to the checkered flag. As Arbin is in the pits for another set of soft tyres. That's fair enough, you know, you want to put on the freshest tyres possible. As he's down in 13th, he's at the back of the queue. He's got nothing to lose.
Mckeon standard, 5 people out of the races. Unheard of there, really. In dry conditions especially. Also, this safety car has maybe sped up the process to get the clouds a little bit darker and maybe a bit of rain for the last lap. Could get really interesting there. Maybe the last...
It definitely could.
No, there's a lot
Could be on for we could be on for a sprint to the flag, along with a drizzle of rain to add an even bigger challenge, that is the Australian Grand Prix circuit at Arwen Park. And yeah, if we do see rain here, it will just add to what is going to be an already chaotic race.
It'll make the soft runners much bigger advantage, especially the front runs. Crowding in P8 with an AI car, I mean, you just got to say fair play to that.
You just have to. You know, he was running down the order at one point, so fair play to Crowder and his AI car. Absolutely brilliant stuff. He's in P8, and we've got the safety car coming in at the end of lap 23. We've got 6 laps left, and we are getting ready for a sprint to the end. Midzi, Sem and Jitto are on older tyres than the rest of the field, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can hold off the others to take results that they were probably not expecting before the start of this weekend. And here we go. Green flag. Midzi has decided to get going, and we're underway. Turn has lost out to Elite Risks, and Crowding has lost a place to Ogwyn as well. He's not going to get a move on. He hasn't got the best exit. I think he's been given an illegal overtake. And that's it, yes it is. An illegal overtake, and that is a disaster for Ogwyn.
But he's already gained it right
disaster.
back.
He's gained it right back, though, but he's lost a lot of time.
Elite looking at back at Turner, who Turner managed to overtake. Elite just switching back. But Jitto from wide race ball is being invited through. The bad start from Midzi, he's found his way in the lead. It really seems like he's found his pace back. But the rain's here. Yeah, the rain is here.
You couldn't write this race more than you already could. It is starting to rain here in Australia. These guys have already done wet running on dry tyres in qualifying, and they're going to have to do it in the race as Elite Risk under pressure
Ogwyn
from Fezzers. Ogwyn has lost a place to Snipes as well.
Yeah,
so Snipes,
that's what I mean. These soft rides are going to be so much quicker. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Combat and Arbin overtake here. As you can see, look, Bez is going wide, he's moving to...
Bez was really struggling there. He made contact with the Ferrari, and look at this, Bez is going backwards. I don't know if
just keep
he
it on
got
board
damage or
with
not.
Jam here, because he can really make an impact here. Being on the softs, everyone else on mediums, used mediums, they're all pretty used.
They're all used, yeah. But these soft tyres, they will go off after a few laps as these guys are going through turn 1. Elite Risks is the next man on Jam's hit list as he goes through turn 2, going into turn 3.
Race Roller's gone straight into the back of
There's
Jitto.
contact in front.
Race Roller has got damage.
Roller's made contact, and he's got another penalty, for goodness sake, as he rejoins the track. It's more misfortune for Jitto at turn 3.
Easy position
Risks
for Jam
has
here.
been overtaken.
Damage.
Yeah, Roller's got damage, Roller's got
Oh,
the damage front wing
Seb's
and
got
sent to the
slow.
wall. Oh no! Seb was looking at a net P1 and he's out of the Australian Grand Prix. Another casualty in this race. And that has got to be heartbreaking for Sam. But that has given Mitzi. That's given Mitzi a huge lead. He's just outside of the penalty range. And look at Jam. Jam is P3. Roller has got damage. And these medium runners are struggling for dear life in the closing stages of this race. Jam could find himself back on the podium as Jitto is really struggling. He's lost a place to Bezzers, and Ogwin goes round as well.
They're all pitting for the softs, or maybe even the inters.
Jam's in as well. DRS has been enabled, and these guys they're going for intermediates. So these guys feel that the weather's just only going to get worse. Midley leads the way with a 3-second time penalty. Snipes, who started 16th on the grid. I think it was 16th or 17th. He is literally
Arben
16th on the grid. Arben is in P4.
Soft conditions.
But surely it's time for intermediates. Surely it's time for intermediates.
Rory's noticed that it's good. It's a good bit of racing here, so he's decided to join back to get his last bits. But yeah, DRS has just been enabled. Ogwin's gone off.
And Ogwin really struggling. Arben. Ogwin is really struggling here. The mediums are not working in these conditions, and Arben is going to come through.
Around. He's having half spins. For some reason, using ERS out of the corners.
So Arben's passed Ogwin. Mid's struggling. Snipes has really caught up to him. And we've got a Red Bull off. And that's Roller. The intermediates aren't working either. And Mid's really struggling here.
To warm up than any other tyre.
It is. And oh, Mitzi loses the back end, and that Snipes
Ogwin's
through.
out.
Ogwin is out of the race.
Ogwin's
out as well. Arben's got no front wing. And that would definitely be an inquiry from the stewards. And that's another safety car. 5 safety cars in the Mckeon division. And these guys have been given a free stop.
That's going to be Turner, Jam, and Elite will be the order. So surely, for a safety car, we're surely doing better. Yeah, it has to be. It's not going to carry on like...
Absolutely unbelievable. You cannot write this. Ogwin and Crispy out of the running. And this is a huge opportunity for Race Roller to gain some serious points in the Drivers' Championship. And W. Turner in the Alpine leads the Australian Grand Prix, along with Jam, who came from a disconnect. He's back in P2. Elite Risks for Alfa Romeo, Jack, is on the podium. So
let's not cross our fingers. We have to cross our fingers here, but let's not presume anything just yet. This race has been, as I've just seen Merck say, crazy. This race has been insane. Arben is P11, which he was in P3 for a minute. But
he was. I think he might have made contact with Ogwin, and that might have caused a collision between the two. So Ogwin is going to be fuming. Arben's going to be fuming. He might feel that he's been robbed here, and we've got the safety car coming in once again for the 5th time. We've had Corey leading a safety car restart. We've had Jam, we've had Midzi, and now it is the Alpine of W. Turner leading the Australian Grand Prix. I told you this was going to be a race of attrition, and that is exactly what it's turned into. 7 cars not seeing the checkered flag, and for Mckeon standards, that is quite unbelievable. Even me saying that sentence by itself.
Every race this weekend, Division 2, Division 3 and Division 4 has had every driver who's finished has scored points. And it could be repeated this race with 18 people. Jam is going to look at the back of the Alpine here. As much as he's going to...
Well, here we go. We are racing again.
In this weather.
And Snipes is having a look at Jitto, who's got a penalty, so is Midzi. So these guys are going to find it difficult to score points. And Midzi, it was looking like he could win the race. It looks like full wet conditions. The conditions are terrible. Mitzi with another penalty.
Snipes is
And
diving
Snipes down the inside of Jitto. And he's up into 4th place. We've got a 2-lap sprint to the flag. And we still don't know who is going to finish in the points and who's going to win the race. Because W Turner's leading it. But Jam is closing in. He had a disconnect earlier in the race. And now he is only 2 tenths away from reclaiming the lead. Here goes the Ferrari, side by side. He's using the overtake to everything he's got. He's dumping the RS. He's not close enough on this occasion. But you can tell he wants this race win.
You can just stay on board here, please, because this is insane.
Here he goes. This is it. This could be for the lead.
At the time, he's going to have to switch around.
Turner hangs on. He's got the switchback. And they are side by side
This is brilliant
again,
racing.
going through the 3rd sector, down the inside, and they are
Oh,
still
they make a little
there's
bit
a
of
bit of contact. There's a little bit of wheel banging, but Turner will be determined to keep this race lead. But Jam round outside, unbelievable! Jam with an incredible move to take the lead of the Australian Grand Prix, and we are coming on to the last lap, and we still don't know who's going to win it. 4 drivers could literally win this race. If you keep it on the track, you'll definitely be within a chance of winning. And I know that is the most obvious statement that I could say at this time. But Jam, who was literally porpoising before the start of this race, he's taken it back with just less than a lap to go. Unbelievable. Combat has passed crowding. So I think Arbon might have a chance to get some points if he keeps it on the road.
Double points finish for the Alpha Romeo. It's other than McLaren. I'm pretty sure this is the only team who can actually do that this race. But Jitto's got
and unfortunately
another
for
penalty.
Jitto with another penalty, so that is very unfortunate.
Actually, no, Crowding is
But
going to
Jam
be disqualified.
is-
Well, he's in the points already. So,
Like
yeah, as I said, everyone who finishes the
Combat's
race
out.
as
Combat's out of the
Score a point.
race. Arbon is going to score a point in this Mckeon division.
he'll be
And
P9 because
meanwhile,
will be disqualified for. But he's Arbon. That doesn't matter. Arbon's already on the back of him.
Arbon is
And
going in the
Mitzi
points.
is making a move on Jitto.
But meanwhile, at the front, SLR Jam, who had a disconnect
He just
9
keeps it going
laps
for the last
ago,
few points. It's his race.
who I thought was out of this race completely. He's taken the lead back from Turner, and he comes through to win a chaotic Australian Grand Prix. It's SLR Jam who wins it. Turner second, Risks
Elite
is on
Risks.
the podium, and Snipes fourth. Roller gets Bezzers at the end, and what a race! Unbelievable scenes. SLR Jam is your winner in the Australian Grand Prix in one of the most dramatic races in living memory.
His 3rd race, and I'm pretty sure this is his return to the Mckeon division. So, I mean, props to him because I've not seen a race in the Mckeon division this chaotic. This is my first time commentating, but this is even watching. I do watch these races a lot, and this is by far. Changing conditions, changing leaders. There's been about 5 change of leaders, I'm pretty sure, with all of them having the most horrendous luck. But I mean, I can't imagine anyone who in the lead the championship or even in the battle would be hoping for a race like this. But I'm sure Jam, Turner, and the Elite are all buzzing with them. So let's just get these two in the party now.
For sure. What a race. Today, the championship leaders fail to take advantage and survive the chaos. But today goes to SLR Jam. Let's try and get these guys in the party. And I think I'll allow you to go first for the interview.
I'll get Elite, you can get Turner and Jam if you fancy that.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, just wait for now Jam to join if you just want to, and Turner if you want to just hit your box please. Wait for Jam. Yep, here he is. So, hello, Joe. If you want to just take your box, please, mate, and we'll get these interviews underway. So, oh, there's a then.
Hello?
Alright, so,
Can you hear me?
Jam is
Jam is still connecting.
start showing up
Hello?
on our screen.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Alright, cool.
Alright, so starting off with Elite Wrestling P3.
Yeah. Hello.
So, for the Alpha Male, you've not scored points in this division, if I'm speaking correct.
Yeah, like my first points. Yeah.
Yeah, so Division 1 champion last season. I mean, you really look like you had the pace all throughout the season, just some horrendous luck, like good points. So yeah, points position was looking almost certainly Saudi Arabia, I think. And yeah, with rightly what you deserve, in my opinion. That's not being biased with the team, but yeah, I'm chuffed. I'm sure my commentary partner here is chuffed, both being Alfa Romeo drivers. But I mean, let's ignore that. Let's just focus on your race. How do you think it went?
Yeah, quality was yeah, well, it was probably the weirdest quality I've ever had in an F1 game. It was just rain throughout the whole quality, but it wasn't wet enough for inters, and it just kept getting wetter and wetter. But for some reason, the softs are still the fastest, and yeah, I was the unlucky one. I got P11 in Q2, so I didn't go into Q3. 600ths off or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I felt like I'd pay if it was dry. I felt like I would have been able to get into Q3. But yeah, going on to the race, I had a really good start. I started P11 obviously, and I managed to get into P9 off the start. I could have sent it down the inside of Sem on the first lap, but yeah, decided against that because that was a bit risky. So I just stuck to P9, and then it was kind of a DRS train until Crispy span and retired, which forced a safety car, and then it was a split between the whole grid of mediums and hards. I stayed on the hards, and then it was another DRS train until the next safety car where I pitted for mediums, and then it was another DRS train until safety car came out again, and I stayed on the mediums then, and then obviously the last few laps were wet, and another safety car came out. And yeah, then I pitted for the inters. Yeah, I pitted for the inters one lap before my safety car came out, and with everyone spinning around me, I managed to somehow get a podium.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say you can't really say, oh, somehow you got a podium. You were up there, P5.
Yeah. After last week,
race.
I feel like I have good pace in this game. So yeah, I'm really happy with the podium still then.
Yeah, well done once again. So
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to move on to second place man, W. Turner, Al Turner. It seemed like you had the win just so close, yet so far, but can you talk us through your race?
Not the whole of the race.
Yeah, just
Lap
the
by
whole
lap
of the
race.
race. Just how it was for you.
Well, the first lap I got quite a good start and managed to get past Owen, but it felt pretty ropey as I was getting loads of snaps, and then I lost track position to Ogween and Roller. But then the safety car came out, and well, it looked like we'd made the right choice. We were staying out for the first one after Crispy DNF'd. So yeah, I mean, and I don't know what happened after. My brain's gone blank.
Well, I can't really blame you because it was quite a chaotic race from start to finish, but that is your first podium of the season. Do you think you'll be fighting for podiums more often? Will there be more to come this season?
Hopefully, I mean, as long as Owen keeps spinning it because he's a sweat. But yeah, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, it went quite well. It's just over the last couple of laps, that last safety car kind of screwed me up because then Jam got back really close, and I just kept struggling really hard in the final few laps. and Jam did really well, to be fair. But I don't know what was happening. It's nothing to do with Jam's fault, but like on the second last lap, I just kept getting little wheel bangs because of the lag. But I don't know what it was. But yeah, GG's to Jam anyway.
Well, thanks, Turner. I'm sure if there's another race like that and you're at the front, I'm sure there'll be a victory coming your way soon. But we'll move on to the race winner, SLR Jam. Qualified second. Unbelievable last lap as well. It seemed that you lost the win after the disconnection on lap 20. So could you talk us through your race? How it went?
Yeah, obviously I was pretty shocked to be up in P2 in quali. I think if it had been fully dry, I probably would have been kind of towards the back end of the top 10. But I was pretty confident in my race pace. I felt I had a good kind of strategy as well, but obviously the rain and all the safety cars obviously threw that out the window. I struggled to keep up with Corey a bit at the start, and then obviously safety car 1 came out, and then didn't pit. Pitted me on the second one for mediums. I knew I could take them to the end from lap 9, so I figured I'd try that. And then started picking off people nicely on the restart, and found myself in the lead after the third safety car. Pulled away a bit from Midzi, and I was feeling pretty comfortable then. There were kind of 10 laps to go, and I was thinking I had a good shot at the win. And then disconnected. And I couldn't believe it, to be honest, when I came back and saw that I was in like 12th or whatever it was on fresh softs. Safety car restart again. Made some nice moves, and I felt I was giving myself the best chance possible to get back to where I was. And then all of a sudden I found myself back in the podium places on the inters. And that first lap before the safety car came out, I saw that I was gaining a nice bit of time on Turner in front. So I figured if it stayed like it was, I might have an outside chance at the win. And then I just thought I'd go for it on that final safety car. Really, after the race I'd had, it kind of felt like the win had been taken from me originally. And then somehow I found myself back in the lead, kind of 9 places up from where I was 6-7 laps ago. I just couldn't believe it. I'm kind of finding it hard to remember what happened. It was all a bit of a blur, to be honest. But I mean, Turner gave me plenty of room. It was really good racing. I know quite a lot of guys probably wouldn't have given as much room, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're fighting for the win, aren't you? So
that's true, but
I can't believe how it ended up back in the lead, to be honest.
Do you think there'll be more to come this season? You are the 3rd different winner in the Mckeon division this season. Do you think there'll be more wins to come, and do you think that you'll be able to fight for the title, or is that too soon to think about?
Well, I'd like to think so. I think I'm definitely a lot quicker on this game than I was before on 2021. But I'm definitely not the quickest here by any stretch. So, I mean, if I could get some more wins, podiums, I'd be pretty chuffed with that. I think I don't think I'll be in the championship fight, but if I can just kind of if I can drive the best season that I know I can drive, and I'll be happy with that. I don't expect to be fighting for anything from the end of the season, though.
Well, thanks, Jam, and that is where we're gonna wrap things up for the Mckeon division here today. Join us tomorrow for Division 1. Australia will be the last race, the last Australian Grand Prix of the weekend, and next week will be Imola for the first sprint weekend. So that is going to be the end of the stream. Thank you so much for joining. Hope you guys enjoyed a chaotic race, and we'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. We'll see you.
Cheers, guys.